Hi everybody, this is Susan from the library with our third part of our Beverly Walking Tour. And today we're up at Dodge Park. And before I tell you about the park, I need to tell you about the person that it is named after. Now in Beverly history, there are two John Dodges. There is Colonel John Dodge, and then there's his son, John Dodge Esquire. Now today we're going to talk about the son and why he is important to Beverly history. Okay, so John Dodge Esquire was born in Beverly, Massachusetts in 1784. His family then moved to Marietta, and they stayed in Marietta until after the Indian Wars, and then they moved to Beverly. Now, John Dodge Esquire pushed really hard for the incorporation of Beverly, and so you'll see his name everywhere. And then he also is the one that planned the Beverly streets. He also is the one that named it Beverly, Ohio, after his birthplace, Beverly, Massachusetts. Now, he ended up donating quite a bit of land, almost half of his properties, to the citizens of Beverly to be used as parks, such as this one. He also donated for churches and schools, and we'll get to that one in a minute. He also donated the land for the first Beverly townhouse. Now, after it was donated, well, the reason he donated this piece of property for a park was that originally it had been used as an Indian meeting grounds, and he very much wanted it to continue with that tradition. Over time, though, the people of Beverly kind of did not see his vision, and so they used this property as common livestock pasture. It had also been used as a circus grounds. Well, his granddaughter, Virginia, didn't particularly care for how people were treating this property, and so she went to the village council and asked if she could be put in charge of it. And so she is instrumental in making this the park that we have. She built bandstands, she planted trees, she brought in people to do programs, and she just made it the park. Today it is used for family reunions and birthday parties and just parties in general. It is also used by the American Legion as the place of the Beverly Homecoming. And then in the winter, this is where the Chamber of Commerce has their lighting in the park. And after the parade, the Lions have their program here. Now, we come, well, hold on, let me do this one first since I'm down here. All right, this little building here was originally the first Beverly High School, and it was started as built in the 1850s, and it was the high school until the second Beverly High School was built, and we'll talk about it at another walk. And now we'll go up here to the top, and this at one time was one of John Dodge Esquire's houses, and he built quite a few of them. We'll talk about another of his houses here in a minute, but a lot of them he built for his children, and so they're around the area. Now, originally, right next to it, where the sounds like where the St. Bernard's Meeting Hall is, there used to be Beverly Academy, and it opened its doors in 1842. Now, John Dodge Esquire donated the land for it, but Dana, another prominent family in the area, donated the proceeds from their local coal mine. And it was an academy for many years, a place of higher learning. And then St. Bernard's used it for a while as their church, and it was tore down in the 50s for St. Bernard's Church. Now, hold on a minute and I'll jump to the other corner of town. Okay, so I jumped a little bit more than a corner, but we're down here by the McIntosh House. Now, why is the McIntosh House so important? Well, it's actually because of Colonel E.S. McIntosh. Now, he was born in Marietta in 1793. He started working in the brickyards in Marietta at age 9. During his first summer, he helped make 300,000 bricks. By the age of 12, he was an apprentice bricklayer. In 1817, he was hired to work on the Dana House for $2 a day. He worked at this trade until 1823, and he opened his first grocery store. In 1835, he sold that store to his brother and opened a post office. In 1837, he built the first store in Beverly. He built the first grist mill in Beverly in 1843. He sold that to his brother in 1859. In 1851, he built this home. No, okay, he built that home. In 1863, he built the second one, which would be over here. And then he built a summer kitchen and connected the two. Now, on the other side, you can still see the well that is part of that kitchen. In 1856-57, he supervised the building of a large E-shaped barn. And we'll talk more about it in a minute. But when he had it, it housed the finest horses in Muskingum Valley. In 1861, when the Civil War broke out, a company was organized to go fight in the war. McIntosh was a really big supporter of the cause, and because of that, they made him a colonel. He was too old to actually go fight. He did what he could here in Beverly. It is said that he went around and bought all of the underwear in Beverly and Waterford and sent it to the troops. His wife knitted 137 pairs of socks to also be sent to the troops. In 75, he was made one of the presidents of the Citizens Bank. He was also the president of the Ag and Mechanical Association, which was in charge of a tri-county fair that was held here in Beverly every September. And the first one of those was in 1878. And he did that until his death in 1889. Now I'll take a picture of the other side of the house afterwards. Today it is McCurdy's funeral home, by the way. Now give me a minute, I'm going to go jump again. Okay, I did forget to mention a couple things at the last stop. One, there is a little purple, let's see if I can zoom in from here. It's kind of right there. Little library that you can trade books, take a book, leave a book. Also, the kitchen down there is where the kids of Beverly can get their free lunches. Also, when the McIntosh House was built, it was considered one of the finest houses in Beverly. Now we will zoom over here to this corner of the park, and we get the back side of the museum, the Oliver Tucker Museum, which is ran by the Lower Muskingum Valley Historical Society. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all too much about this one because you really need to come in and talk to the people inside because they can tell you a lot more, but I will read a little blurb from a website. The museum was built, or the house, which holds a museum, was built in the 1830s, 1840s by John Dodge, Esquire, benefactor and founder of Beverly, Ohio. The log house was removed from Marvel Starling's farm. Both the museum and house contain many artifacts of the area and time. Okay, hold on a second. Let me start that one over. Both the museum and house contain many artifacts of the area and time, including antique furniture and clothing, photos and documents. See the Mary Tucker Townsend Room, antique furniture and clothing, pictures and documents, and other items of the early settlers of the lower Muskingum Valley area. Dr. Hill's Dr. Hill's medical office and the Adair Room, and much more. Now they have added, I can't really see it from here, a little barn out back that has farm equipment. And I will say that one was a little depressing because I've seen and used some of that stuff. Alright, and that is the Oliver Tucker Museum. Now I'll hop to the last corner down here. Alright, we're up here at the last corner of the park, and right there is the fire department. It was moved up here from 5th Street a few years ago. And as you can see, it was established in 1883. Now, before I mentioned McIntosh's barn, his E-shaped barn, and it would have been there in the bend. Now, it changed hands quite a few times through the years, and at one time, Pawnee Bill's Wild West Show and Mexican Joe Barrera ended up housing their animals in here. And for those that don't know, at the turn of the century, Wild West shows were very popular. They were like circuses, only they were themed from the Wild West. So you had trick riders and shooters and that kind of stuff. So the animals were housed here in Beverly, and they were either in the E-shaped red barn, which became known Taylor's Big Red Barn, or they were out on the Dana farm. And to give you an idea of how big this barn was, it housed over 500 head of circus animals in the 1905. And also, it was over an acre in size inside. And then also in 1905, one of the first only baby camels was born in Washington County in that barn. And I think on that note, we'll call it a day. Now, remember, as always, if I missed something, or if I misspoke something, or if you have more information, please add it in the comments, and I will see y'all next week.